Well, again, thank you, and I'm really excited to be here today. And this picture you're seeing is me with some kids at a salad bar, and one of my jobs is the Director of Food Services for Boulder Valley School District. We have 52 schools, 30,000 students, and I'm doing 13,000 meals a day from scratch. Every day we do 13,000 meals a day. And the reason we do this is because it's so important to feed kids better food. What we know is hungry kids can't learn and malnourished kids can't think. And we have to make sure that kids get great food in school every single day. There's nothing that's more important than that. And that's the work I do. It's kind of new work for me. I've been doing it for 15 years, but prior to that, I was a white tablecloth chef and cooked all over the country and really tried to make the best food for rich people. And now I try and make the best food for kids. And when I start talking to kids about this kind of food, I talk about regional, organic, seasonal, and sustainable. So regional food, food with a face, food from a place. This picture of the kids and the farmers is at the local farmers market in Boulder. So we take kids to the farmers market. We teach kids where their food comes from. We talk about local food, and we talk a lot about organic food. Why it's so important to have food that has no chemicals, no antibiotics, no hormones, no dyes. That's super important. And yet, so much food in my country has all of those things. There's so little organic food in schools because of the money, and we'll talk more about money. But we really need to have food without chemicals. One of the big issues I talk a lot about is antibiotics. Do you know that in my country, in the States, 80% of all antibiotics are used in animal husbandry? 80%. So our kids eat and drink antibiotics in the food and the water. That's crazy. It means that kids get sick and can't get better. We're just wasting the antibiotics by giving them to cows so they'll gain weight faster. And then there's GMOs, genetically modified organisms. In the United States, they're totally unregulated. There's no mandatory testing, there's no mandatory labeling. We can just feed it to our kids, and no one knows what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen to our children's children's children. We have to stop this. It's crazy. It's crazy that we don't regulate this stuff. Herbicides and pesticides. I love this fact. In the United States, we use 1.2 billion pounds of pesticides every year. If I had 4 pounds, like a 4-pound bag of pesticides, and I started spooning it on a teaspoon to your child, to your niece, to your nephew, 4 pounds on a teaspoon, spoon by spoon. That's how much we feed our kids in the food supply. In the United States, this is all legal. It's all legal. In fact, this ad for DDT was paid for in part by the USDA. At the time, they thought, DDT isn't bad. Well, we know, of course, that it is. But the real thing, what I want you to take away from my talk today, is not that you have to believe everything I say, but that you have to question everything. So for me, this is all about sustainable food, triple bottom line, people, planet, prosperity, healthy food, healthy earth, healthy kids. We need to make the connection for kids and for parents that if we don't have healthy earth, we don't have healthy food. And if we don't have healthy food, we don't have healthy kids. It's just that simple. And it has to start in schools. So in the States, it's all backwards. We used to be almost all farmers. And in less than 200 years, less than 2% of us grow the food we eat. In fact, in my country, we have more prisoners than farmers. 2.3 million prisoners, 1.9 million farmers. It costs $35,000 a year to keep a prisoner in prison, and yet we spend less than $7,000 educating our kids. It's just crazy. But there are all kinds of challenges. Profit, agribusiness, commodity foods, processed foods. We have a very, very, very broken food system. We don't put enough priority on real, good, healthy food. It's just processed and fast food and big companies that make so much money off of what we eat and care so little about how we feel afterwards. And this industrialized model has brought us pink slime and all kinds of food that has been, all kinds of food that gets called back. So we have these recalls, beef and peanut butter and turkey and eggs, and the most recent one is rice. These are recalls. This means it's sent out to schools and then recalled. In the meantime, of course, the kids probably ate it. But that's what happens when you have a profit-driven system, when the profit is so much more than everything else. We have big companies like Monsanto and DuPont. They brought us Agent Orange and stain-resistant carpet. These companies own 90% of the commercially produced seed. These big companies control the food we eat. And in the United States, 10 companies control most of what's sold in grocery stores. So this is what I think. We need to change it. The first wheel you saw was my meal wheel. The second was the White House's. This one is Harvard's. And this is what typical food school could look like in America. The French fries are the vegetable, the chips are the grain, the cheese is the protein, and then chocolate milk so we can give kids high fructose corn syrup. That is what we have to change. And why? In America, the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, say that of the children born in the year 2000, 1 out of every 3 Caucasian and 1 out of every 2 African Americans and Hispanics will have diabetes in their lifetime. In their lifetime. And this same generation is the first in our country's history that may die at a younger age than their parents because of what we feed them. And it is what we feed them. You know, children don't get to decide. In our country, and this is such a sad fact, the leading cause of disease-related death of children under 19 is cancer. Cancer. The prevalence of diabetes and obesity has tripled. Kids get sick, they don't get better. It's just unconscionable. This generation has been called Generation RX. We have an exponential increase in things like ADD and ADHD, and autism and allergies and asthma. When I was a kid, I didn't know anyone with an allergy, and now in my school district, 35% of kids have allergies. A broken food system, and it's making our kids sick. And we have to change it. All of us have to change it. Here's another really disturbing fact. In the Iraq and Afghanistan wars in America, between all the armed services, there were 1,500 amputations because of the war. During the same time period, there were 1.5 million amputations because of diabetes. Sugar's toxic. We need to change it. We can't feed it to kids as if it doesn't matter. And yet, we see big companies spending $17 to $20 billion a year marketing junk food to kids. Everywhere you go in my country, advertisements, eat this, eat this, eat this. Cereals with tons of sugar in it. Chocolate milk, flavored milks, candy, it's everywhere. It's about to be Halloween. All you see is candy in every single store. And what's happening? The kids are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. The CIA in the States does life expectancy at birth. US ranks 51st between Guam and Bahrain. The US, one of the richest countries in the world, ranked 51st because of the junk food that we feed our kids. And along with that, with all of the junk food and all of the overweight and obese kids, we have starvation. So I believe this is the social justice issue of our time, that it is should be our life's work to make sure the kids are fed well, that they know the difference between junk food and real food, that every child is fed well enough in school to excel to the top of their expectations. So school food, 5 big challenges: food, finance, facilities, human resources, and marketing. Food, where are we going to get it and make sure it's good? Finances, how do we pay for it? Facilities, what do we do if we don't have kitchens? Human resources, how do we teach our staff to cook? And finally, marketing and education. If I do everything else right, how do we get the kids to eat it? This food, what you see on the screen right now, is the food that was being served in Berkeley, California when I took over as the Director of Food Services. Berkeley, California, home to Alice Waters. Alice Waters, who brought me to Berkeley and said, fix the food. And this junk, Extremo burritos, pizza pockets, chicken nuggets, tater tots, that's what we were feeding our kids. All in plastic, all coming out of the freezer. And if that wasn't bad enough, then we sold kids stuff. And we sold kids things like pink Danish and ho-hos and ring dings and cupcakes and corn nuts. We shouldn't have that in schools. There's no place for junk food in schools. Yet schools in America sell this stuff to kids because they say they need money to pay for things, instead of finding government money to make sure that we have healthy food for kids in schools. And then there was chicken nuggets. Now, who decided a chicken should be a star, a heart, a giraffe, or flipper? Right? I mean, why is that? Why can't chicken just be chicken? And the reason, because you make a whole lot more money by processing stuff and shaping it like a flipper and then giving it to kids and telling kids they have kids' food. But we can make a change. You know, I'm working every day to make a change in my country, and I hope many of you are working the same here as well. Because we need kids to understand what real food is. We need kids to know what it's like to taste delicious, seasonal, real food, so that they know and they can teach their own kids. So what do I want? I've told you all the things that I hate, so what do I like? Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, whole grains, healthy protein. Pretty simple, you'd think, but so hard in schools. And I want to believe that we should be able to do this. I want to believe that it's not so hard. But day in, day out, in the schools I work in, we find junk food. So the picture in the forefront on your left, right, I don't know, the one that looks like real food, that's a plate of food in my schools. And the other one, the chicken nuggets, French fries, chocolate milk, canned food cocktail, canned peas, frozen carrots, that's regular school lunch. So I want every kid to have real food made from scratch every day in our schools. But this is really hard. This picture depicts one day of fresh produce in Berkeley, where they only had 10,000 kids. The school district I'm in now is 3 times bigger. But to do that, you need all this equipment. You need the plastic containers, and you need the racks, and you need cutting boards, and you need knives, and you need food choppers, and you need walk-ins. It's not so easy because there's so much stuff you need. Chicken nuggets and tater tots, you don't need anything. We need to build kitchens. This is a kitchen I built in Boulder. But we're really lucky in Boulder that we could be able to build this. And the government just said they would give grants for $25 million. But we need $1,025 million. $25 million, that's almost nothing. There's 100,000 schools in my country. 25 million is a drop in the bucket. Every school needs a school district kitchen. And then after we put in the kitchens, we need to train our staff. I mean, many of my staff have no idea how to cook anymore. When I got to Berkeley, they had can crushers and box cutters because everything came frozen or canned. We need to teach people how to cook again. We need to find our kitchens. We need to stop going to fast food. We need to come and eat real food. In my country, 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in fast food. 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in a car. We've taught children that the cars are our dining room. And finally, 1 out of every 4 meals is eaten in front of a blue screen, iPad, iPhone, We need to sit and eat. We need to savor real food. We need to know what it tastes like. We need to teach kids about it. In all of our schools, we have cooking classes. We have gardens. We have Iron Chef competitions. We do 2 a year. And the winning recipes actually get served on the next year's menu. And the kids compete, just like on Chopped. And the winning recipes actually go on our menu. But then kids are vested, and they'll try new things, and they'll think about the food. Gardens. We have gardens in almost all of our schools. And I believe every school should have a garden. Because kids need to know where their food comes from. It doesn't come from a grocery store. There's no cow that brown chocolate milk comes out of. Chicken doesn't grow in a plastic package. We need curriculum. We need to really teach food literacy. We need to teach about the food that we serve. We need kids to understand what healthy food really is, and about sustainable farming and good farming practices. We need to teach all that stuff. It should be part of our educational paradigm in schools. So we do all kinds of educational things. One of the things we do is a program called Harvest of the Month, and we give away these cards. And we have farmer cards and we have vegetable cards. So if the Harvest of the Month is a tomato dish, you might get a tomato card. Or maybe this farmer, this is my favorite farmer, Eric Skokand, with one of his pigs. He might come to the schools, and the cards are like trading cards. We also write a calendar for the entire year. And all the artwork is kids' artwork. So we send it home to all the parents so they know the food that we're going to be serving for the entire year. And they all have our farmers on it, and they all have these lovely pictures on it. And again, it's so that the kids can really understand what it is we're doing, and the parents can understand, so people can start to change. In young kids, kindergarten through 3rd grade, we take these posters and we put them up in the classroom, we blow them up. And the kids can take string or yarn and put what else they ate there. And I really like this for little kids because you can see most of the meal wheel is plant-based. And we need our plates to be 50% plant-based. This happens to be hanging at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. right now. Breakfast. My mother told me it was the most important meal of the day. And for school kids, especially those who come from impoverished areas, it's really important that they get a good breakfast and that the breakfast isn't full of sugar. We need to feed kids healthy food. We need to feed kids food that's going to help them get through the day. That's not got too much sugar in it. That's really good, healthy food. We need longer lunch periods. In my country, lunch periods can be as short as 20 minutes, and they need to be 30 minutes. They need to be long enough that kids can actually sit and eat and not have to run into a really noisy cafeteria and then gobble up their food and run out. That's no way for people to eat. Certainly no way for kids to eat. It's not how any of us want to eat either. We need to have time to eat. We need socialization at the table. Well, when I give these speeches, and this is my 3rd speech in my 2nd country in 72 hours, I talk a lot about these issues, and somebody in the audience always raises their hand and says, there's not enough money. We can't do this. We can't afford it. We don't have enough money. So I'm not sure how it works in your country, here in Taiwan, but I'll tell you in my country that I get 12 dimes, $1.20, to spend on food cost. So in the big perspective, we feed about 5.4 billion lunches a year at a cost of about $12 billion. And that comes down to about $3. So I'm giving $3 per child to make their lunch. But that has to include payroll and overhead and uniforms and trucks to deliver and all my equipment and building kitchens. So that $3 actually comes out to be $1.20 per meal. Now, with all the traveling I do, I often drink a lot of coffee, or here I'm drinking a lot of tea. But you've probably all heard of Starbucks. And when I'm in my country and running through an airport, I often get a Starbucks. And that's $5 for a venti latte. But many of us probably spend, in my country, and I don't know exactly how it relates in your Taiwanese currency, but $3, $5, $6 for an adult beverage, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. We probably spend 3, 4, 5, 8 times more, maybe 10 times more on daily beverages that we purchase than we do on our kids' lunches. This is a crazy, crazy thing. In my country, we keep saying we want kids to eat better. We want them to be healthy. Yet, we don't get the government to put enough money into the program so that every kid can eat healthy. And not only so that they can eat healthy, but that we can teach them about healthy food. We can teach them why it's so important to eat food without chemicals. So we can teach them why it's so important to grow good food. So that we can teach them, and they can teach their friends, and eventually they'll teach their children. You know, there's nothing more important for the future of any country than the future of our children. And somebody asked me earlier today, you know, healthy food and organic food costs more. And yes, it often does. In my country, it certainly does. And my answer was, organic food, healthy food might cost more, but it costs a whole lot less than illness and a night in the hospital. So do you want to spend a little more today on eating healthy food, teaching kids about healthy food, and not spend it on hospitals down the road? Because that's the choice we have to make. Because we really are we really are what we eat. And that has never changed. It's totally true. So you see these pretty pictures of kids with food. These are all pictures of kids with food in my school district. None of them were set pictures. We just run around and take pictures of our kids. And it says, do one thing, do one thing, do one thing. And the reason it keeps saying do one thing is because often when I give these talks, people say to me, oh, it's too overwhelming, I can't deal with it. Oh, the government is too much of a mess, I can't make a change. And here's the thing, we all could do one thing. We could all decide that we're going to eat more times a week together. We could all decide we're going to grow some food. We could all decide we're going to cook together. There's so many things we could do. But if you just pick one, if every single person in this room just picks one thing they could do different for children, we could start to change the world. And that's something we really have to do. One of the things you could do is work on social media. We have a social media, my foundation has a social media campaign right now to bring awareness of healthy food for kids. But whether you want to grow food with kids or cook food for kids or work on social media issues or teach kids about healthy food, you can make a difference. If we all sit back complacently and just believe that someone else is going to make these changes, it's never going to happen. But we can all make a difference every single day. Big change doesn't start with a whole bunch of people. Big change starts with one. So I've been really fortunate. My foundation works with Michelle Obama, and we work on a project called Let's Move Salad Bars to Schools. And I can say that Michelle Obama has been such a great influence on school food in America. She has worked so hard to make changes and been just a great cheerleader, and she's wonderful to work with. And through her passion and through her help, we've been able to use my foundation for change. So my foundation is the Chef Ann Foundation, and we have lots and lots of programs. So when I talk about doing one thing, I'm kind of an overachiever. So my one thing is many things, but it started with the Chef Ann Foundation, which works all over America. And in fact, we're touching over 2 million kids a day through our programming. We've developed a website called The Lunchbox, and this is a web portal that has recipes and menu cycles and videos and financial modeling tools, and it's all free. Everything my foundation does, we put it in the public domain, we give it away for free. We want schools to segue from highly processed foods to scratch-cooked foods. We want kids to know where their food comes from. We want kids to know what healthy, real food is. And the project I work on with Michelle Obama is Let's Move Salad Bars to Schools. These numbers are slightly old, but we've raised over $11 million. We've donated over 4,000 salad bars, and we're touching 2.1 million kids a day, getting fresh fruits and vegetables every single day to schools in every state in America. And that can happen anywhere. It happens through things like this. Do one thing. This is a project we're working on now. Hashtag Real School Food. Alice Waters, Jamie Oliver, a bunch of celebrities from the United States, they're all working with me on this. And you all can participate as well. Take a selfie with a sign, hashtag Real School Food, and put it all over social media. And get people to think about what school food really is and what it should be. So there's one thing you could all do, is real school food. So when I give these talks, one of the things I think a lot about is what it really means. And here's what I think. It should be a birthright in my country. It should be a birthright in your country. It should be a birthright in every country. That every child, every day, has healthy food in school. And that no child is ever hungry. That should be our challenge, our carrying song, our mission. Healthy food and no child hungry. And my challenge to you is find that one thing that you can do to make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chef Ann. What a delicious and nutritious talk. Chef, please take a seat first. I'll briefly summarize what you just said, and I'll invite an audience member to interact with you immediately. Please take a seat first. 大家刚才也都听了翻译啊，我很简短的把 Ann 刚才讲的重点归纳一下哈。第一点，我们首先要知道，他每天在科罗拉多州准备13000份的营养午餐。好 ，Please take a seat, Ann. 13000份的营养午餐，所以他知道营养午餐是怎么一回事哈。第二个，他发现在美国营养午餐，正如在台湾的营养午餐一样，有很多的农药，有很多的抗生素，有很多的加工食品，造成了孩子们很多的糖尿病，很多的癌症。他说，美国这个世代孩子叫做处方世代啊，为什么？ 从小到大吃了这么多东西，将来长大就要吃处方啊。第3点，其实他今天的关键也给我们所有关心营养午餐的家长和老师哈。他说，营养午餐要做得好，必须有5个条件。好，第一个是 F， 好 ，F 就是 food。食物本身好，应该是新鲜的，应该是当地的，而不是加工的哈。第2个 F 叫做 finance 的中文叫做财务哈，就是要有钱啊，政府要有钱，家长要出钱才能办好的营养午餐，对不对哈？第3个也是 F 叫 facility， 就是一定要有设备哈，比如说厨房里要有这些好的厨具了，比如说甚至每个学校都要有一个菜园呐，好才能够有好的设备做好的营养午餐哈。那第4个叫Human resource 叫做人力资源，比如说每个学校有好的厨师啊，能够准备这些东西，对不对？好，所以这第4个 human resource 也非常重要。第5个也是我们早上到现在一连串的主题，叫做 education。哈，早上记不记得 Mini Cook 的老师在谈怎么样教小朋友食欲？顾伟呢？也是谈怎么样教大人食欲，包括现在你们坐在这里都是在接受 education， 好，所以有这5点，学校营养午餐才能办得好。另外在制度上也比较改变，比如说让小朋友在学校里面吃早餐啦，好，或是说午餐的时间从20分钟延长到30分钟啊，等等的哈。那第4个重点是 Ann 讲到了，让我们从今天开始，对于加工的食物，对于炸的食物啊，我们说 no。让我们迎接什么东西？学校应该供应无限量的水，学校应该提供很多的全谷类食物给小朋友吃哈。那最后呢，他鼓励我们大家，每一个人其实都可以做一件事哈。大家当然觉得 Ann 很资深啊，他可以做很多事，但你也可以哈，你只要用你的脸书，用你的社群媒体，你也可以去影响你身边的人。那 Ann 呢，很荣幸跟美国的第1夫人 Michelle Obama 一起推动把沙拉吧带到学校的这样的运动。好，那在座各位家长，你们也可以发挥家长会的力量，想办法把更多的沙拉、更多的蔬菜带到你们的学校之中。好，这是刚才 Ann 短短的时间所讲的重点哈。我接下来要邀请各位跟 Ann 互动一下哈。那各位千万不要被语言所阻挠，不管你讲的是中文、讲的英文都好。如果你讲中文的话，我替你翻译，让 Ann 感受一下我们台湾观众朋友的热情哈。所以我待会要把我是个手上的礼物送给跟 Ann 互动的人哈。打铁趁热把握机会。不过在我邀请各位之前，我们还是掌声先谢谢 Ann。What a great talk! Thank you, Ann. 好，有没有哪一位愿意把握这个机会的啊？好棒啊 ！You pick one. There's so many hands. You pick one. You want to pick? 好，然后好，厨师对厨师，来，我们这个男厨师到现场，来，我们掌声给同学鼓励一下好吗？谢谢你们。好，来帮厨师同学拿着他的礼物。好，你看这个画面多棒，来，我们拍一下好吗？这个台湾的年轻的男厨师跟 Ann 来互动一下。好，你叫什么名字 ？What's your name？
我叫邱永祥。
好，用靠近麦克风，叫什么？
我叫邱永祥。
廖永祥。
邱。
This is Mr. Chu。来，小时候都念过英文嘛，现在是你发挥一身功力的时候。Please, slowly in English 。开你玩笑，中文也可以哈。
谢谢那个从美国来台湾的厨师，然后我刚刚听的也蛮精彩的，就把沙拉吧带到学校来，然后可以让很多学生可以知道很多很营养的东西，然后我也在学校慢慢学习，然后之后在不同的地方，然后推广这个活动。
He just want to express his appreciation.
Yes, thank you, and that's really great. And you can make a difference, so you just need to go out there and do it.
你也可以模仿主厨 Ann 做的事啊，你也可以去用你的社群媒体，或是把你的沙拉吧带到其他中学或小学去。好，那有没有一个问题想要问 Ann 呢？
问题没有。
对，没有。你学烹饪学几年了
？2年。
2年。
高2，我在高2。
你现在高2，所以学了2年了。对。学习烹饪的过程中，
一年而已。
才1年哈。在学习烹饪过程之中，你觉得最大的快乐和最大的挫折是什么？
最大的快乐可以跟班上的同学，然后厨房的同学，然后一起煮菜，然后有问题可以互相问。最大的问题就是我没办法带领好我自己的组员。
为什么没办法带领好你的组员呢？
我也不知道。
好，你们要检讨一下。好，所以他觉得最大的快乐是跟你们一起做菜。 跟你们一起做菜，但是他觉得最大的挫折是没有办法带领你们。So he's talking about managing a kitchen.
Yeah, well, managing a kitchen is hard. I have 200 people working for me, and we work out of 3 big kitchens, and it is a lot of management. So it's something that's really important to learn.
Give him some tips. How to manage a 200 people staff.
You have to be super organized. You have to be really thoughtful and making sure that you can communicate well. And you have to lead by
然
example.
后你要以身作则。
You have to be the best in the kitchen, and then people will work with you.
好，所以听到了吗？不仅对于廖同学，对于你们每一位穿着厨师邱同学，以及你们每一位穿着制服，还有穿着制服的同学大家一定要很有条理，因为厨房可能像战场一样那大家一定要思维的很细腻 ，thoughtful。要体贴，要思维的很细腻，细节要想清楚那大家一定要以身作则不能颐指气使然后大家自己的技能要精进，你要成为最好的厨师，别人才会服气你。这4点让你用未来的厨师生涯自己去体验，好吧？好，跟 Ann 说声谢谢。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great in English. 谢谢邱同学 ，and thank you so much.